Welcome to this webinar where we will go through the basic functions of the program CityPlanner. My name is Karin and I'm working at the company Agency 9 in Stockholm. The meaning of this webinar is that you as a user should be able to start a new project, edit the scene and then later on publish your plans. I use Chrome as a web browser and what you see on the screen is CityPlanner in editing view without a background. In the center of the screen is a project window with different menus on the sides. On the right side is editable tools. Here you can choose the background, project information, viewpoints, and upload content to the scene. On the top menu, you find tools for administration, such as Project Manager, saving the scene, different types of export functions, and here you also have the option to publish your project later on. On the left side, you find a pop-up window that's opening through these menus up here. It contains facts, references, tutorials, and a support functions where you can fill in a form and send it to us if you encounter any problems. So, the first step to a successful project is to choose the right background. Depending on what your organization has signed up for, you find different backgrounds here. Most common is a 3D map with orthophotos or a 3D mesh model. As a default, you also find different OpenStreetMaps, and this is the one I will use in this example. The navigation on a computer is controlled by the mouse. Left mouse button panorates, push the scroll button to rotate, and the right button zooms in and out. An important function in CityPlanner is the Object Manager. You find it here in the lower right corner. It contains editable layers that can be managed to fit your presentation. Everything you import to the scene can be controlled in this Object Manager. Here you can also find the background that you've chosen as a layer. There are two different kinds of arrow tools in the top of the right menu. The first one has a view function. The second one has an edit function. So when you want to change things in the scene, you should choose the second one. And before we continue, we want to save this scene, choosing a fitting name and hit save. And if you don't want to overwrite this project, simply choose Save As and create a newer version of the first project. In the next step, we will continue to edit the graphic profile of the scene. Under the project info, you can change the icons, the colors, the public menus, and the layout. You might want to make it suitable for your organization through placing your logotype in the corner. Next step is viewpoints. They are added to make the scene easier to navigate in and make prefixed views for your content. Click Viewpoint, add a name, set your target, and click plus. And later on, you can add as many as preferred or change existing ones. Another function is point of interest. They are used to highlight a particular location in the map and may contain more information in the form of a pop-up window that appears when you click on the point. So place the point on the map, give it a name. You can change the color, edit the icon, and then you choose On Click. So this is the editor of the pop-up window. Here you can choose between text, images, or a web page. I'm choosing Embed Code, which is a web page. Pasting my URL code in here and closing the window. And later we can test what it looks like by clicking the point with the info arrow. We return to the Object Manager. What happened when I added the point was that a new layer was created. It represents this button, as you see down here in the right-hand corner. If I want, I can change the attribute of this button by renaming it and changing icon and color. Furthermore, I can change the access of the layer upon publication. Right now, the setting is Editing User, and I want it to be public, and therefore change it by clicking until the icon turns round. So now the layer will be public. And then we continue to the 3D objects. Here I can choose between importing my own model or inserting one from the 3D library. We start by choosing one from the library. Here are simple volumes, trees, and some other stuff. So I choose a cube. The cube lands on the ground in the middle of the scene. And by using the Edit tool, I can move the cube. By pulling in these yellow dots, I can form it. I can rotate it and move it vertically. Furthermore, I can change its attributes, color or opacity. In the Object Manager, previous layers were highlighted, which means that the cube will end up in that layer. We continue to import an external 3D model. I choose to create a new layer where my model will be. Then choosing Upload 3D Model. Here, I need a KMZ or a Collada file. I drag and drop it here. So, my 3D model has a georeference, which means that it has a given coordinates and will end up in an exact location. Once I release the model in the scene, I do not see where it goes. I only see that it's in my new layer and what attribute it has in this entry that appears. By clicking the position cursor, I will be navigated to the location. Continuously, I want to import a current 2D plan for the buildings. That's why I choose Terrain Images. And then I drag a raster image to the scene. This is a PNG and it's not georeferenced. This is why it will end up in the middle of the scene and probably also needs to be modified to fit in. Raster images are always glued on the background surface and does not need to be adjusted vertically. The previously created viewpoints I can now configure to match my objects in the scene. And what I do next is to click the access symbol in the layer so that this also becomes visible to all users. We can also adjust to make it visible at startup. I do that by clicking on the layer and then looking up interactions. Here I click on at Launch. After this, we can close the Object Manager. If we return to the menus located below in the right-hand corner, as I mentioned earlier, this will be visible upon publication. The Information button may contain a summary of the project that can also be displayed at startup. By clicking Project Info, I can edit the content of this window. So here I choose an image, then click on Settings and tick Open Window on Load. And later on I can test how it will appear by clicking Information. At the bottom left there's a gear wheel, It adjusts the visual graphic quality of my scene, from low to max. Choosing the max, you get sharp shadows and better contrast. But if you're using a computer with lower performance, we recommend not to use full quality. And then we go to another extra menu. To the right there are 3 functions. The first is a measurement tool. The other is a solar study. Here you can make shadow analysis. And the third here includes the transparency of the background. And these buttons will also be available to the user upon publication. And so now I have a project, a background, viewpoints, 3D models, and point of interests. Now is the time to publish this project. The first thing I'm doing is saving the project again. And then I'm hitting the Publish button, clicking in Published, and Visit. So here is now my finished project, online and available to the world. With this webinar is over. I hope you learned something, and please get back to us if you have any questions or need further information about CityPlanner. The contact info you find under this video. Thank you very much and have a nice day.